Welcome to episode 4 of Suburban Death Metal Dad Recommends, and this episode is about the band Nuclear Assault. So I first heard them, it would have been like 1987. I've been listening to thrash for about a year, and I was 12 in 1987, and just going to the record store in the mall, saw the Game Over cassette, and the artwork, the band name, the song titles, all of it appealed to me. And so I bought it and, hadn't heard anything prior to picking it up, had no idea what it sounded like, but I was absolutely not disappointed. Opening track, Live, Suffer, Die, it just bangs right out of the gate. And big fan of Dan Lilker's bass playing, his bass sound. Always been a fan of bass, so just totally kicks ass, right? And then into the first track with vocals, Sin. This is, in my opinion, one of the best Nuclear Assault songs, and super catchy, especially that mid-tempo breakdown, about a minute and a half in, with the lead guitar over it. One of the best moments in thrash, and especially for Nuclear Assault, in my opinion. But other than that, great songs: Radiation Sickness, After the Holocaust, Stranded in Hell, Nuclear War, Brain Death, the last track. All great songs. And so then, sometime after that, I picked up the Brain Death EP. It had 2 exclusive tracks on it, Final Flight and Demolition, and those songs are great too. My favorite probably being Demolition. Just a great song. And another thing to note about this release is the bonus track, Lesbians, which is only on the cassette and the vinyl. They didn't put it on the CD. But that's also a great song. So I kind of wish they would have, because they've re-released, remastered Game Over a few times. I wish they would have put all those tracks together on CD, because they have not. And usually they just add like some bonus live tracks. I don't know why they don't just put all the songs from that session on a CD, but anyway. So, and then later in '87, at some point, The Plague was out, and wasn't picking up a lot of vinyl, mostly just, cassette, but the only thing available was the vinyl of The Plague, and I really wanted it, so I bought it. And also a very good release, 6 songs, opening track, Game Over, another instrumental opening track, very cool. And then Nightmares, also a very good song. And then the third track, and on the side B, Justice, The Plague, and Cross of Iron. All good songs. Prefer on that side, I like Justice and The Plague are my 2 favorites. So then, going into 1988, they released the highly acclaimed Survive album, probably one of their top albums, I believe, as far as opinions of the band go. And I like it a lot. I like Game Over more, though. Game Over was more, I don't know, savage sounding in a way. Survive's a little bit more mature, but not too much. And great songs on that. The opening track, Rise from the Ashes. I like Survive, the title track, a lot. Fight to Be Free, very, very cool song with that opening clean guitar. And Great Depression, I like Equal Rights, and the way John Connolly sings that song, just the lyrics are just coming out rapid fire. like he's not even taking a breath singing all these verses. That song's so cool. And PSA, like the short grind track, that's cool. Technology, Wired, and for some strange reason they do a cover of Led Zeppelin Good Times Bad Times, and I'm just not a fan of that song to begin with, and I think it's a bit of an odd choice for the band. I kind of wish either they left that song off or did a different cover song, like something more of a hardcore crossover thing. Or but anyway, um, like I said, they do a fine job of the cover. I'm not a fan of the song. I think it's a little odd, doesn't necessarily fit with the rest of the album, but whatever. And then going into 1989, they release what in my opinion is their best album overall, Handle with Care. Just top to bottom, great songs. The opening track, New Song, absolutely banger of a song to open the album, very catchy. And right into Critical Mass, another catchy song. They did a video for that one. And Inherited Hell, Surgery, When Freedom Dies, F Sharp Wake Up, Torture Tactics, Search and Seizure, and then the last two tracks I really like a lot, the short grind track, Mother's Day, and Trail of Tears. I really like that song a lot, kind of epic there with the middle part, slowing down, and the acoustic guitar. I love that they do that. And of course the bass on that and the drums, they all sound phenomenal. The guitar, just overall, top to bottom, a great album, Handle with Care. And they'd also released a live album on that tour, live at Hammersmith Odeon. Great song choice on that. Sounds not the best, but it's still a decent release. It's worth picking up if you're a big fan of the band. Like I said, get some criticism for the sound of the album, the mix or whatever, a bit muddy, so to speak, but still very good. And then, if you notice on the back of Handle with Care, the photo, Dan Loker wearing a Carcass shirt. Dan Loker, obviously, been in a bunch of bands, big fan of death metal, black metal, all that stuff. So, going into 1991, they released the album Out of Order, which, just my opinion, probably their weakest album overall. And definitely up to this point. Seems like they were, I don't know, it's not too much different than the earlier stuff, just not as vicious sounding, let's say more mature, I don't know, but, or just the songwriting, maybe they were just running out of steam, I'm not really sure. I mean, there's still some good songs on it. I do like, even though I don't like the title, Fashion Junkie, I saw that and I was like, we went from nuclear war, radiation sickness to fashion junkie. I don't know, the song itself is good, but Stop, Wait, Think, I like that song. Hypocrisy, which is a fast one that Dan Loka does vocals for, is a good song, and Save the Planet, it's an instrumental, kind of a long song, but I enjoy that one. And once again, the cover song at the end, closing out the album, Ballroom Blitz, also not a fan that they did this one, except they do a fine job covering it, but it just seems like an odd choice. Doesn't really fit in my opinion, but whatever. Crocus did that song too, by the band Sweet. They were the original ones. So at some point after this, Dan Loker and Anthony Bravante, the lead guitarist, both leave the band, and in 1993 John Connolly and Glenn Evans, with a couple other members, released the album Something Wicked. And I first saw this one as far as I think MTV Headbangers Ball. They did a video for Something Wicked, and I saw it on that, and I thought it was a pretty good song. I mean, it's slower but kind of heavy, and I think the production on Something Wicked is much better than what they did on Out of Order. Sounds a lot heavier. It's mostly mid-tempo tracks, but there's a few blasts here and there. The short song Art, is a fast blasting track. I like To Serve Man, Poetic Justice, the title track is good. The Forge, you know, it's it's a good album. I do like it, and in my opinion, like I said, I think it's better than Out of Order. So a little bit after this, maybe a year or two down the road, they basically break up, and sometime later in the 90s, I believe maybe they got back together again, but no releases or anything. They didn't record anything, and then they split up again, and then in the early 2000s got back, more officially this time, and with the original lineup of John Connolly, Dan Lilker, Anthony Bramante, and Glenn Evans, and they do some touring, some shows, put out another live album called Alive Again, and this one is much better than Live at Hammersmith Odeon, in my opinion. Better sound, you know, great song choice on that one, and that was, I believe, 2003.